Next, we'll be talking about the airport data section of your navlog. So to find your departure in your AFD, we're using Grand Forks International as our departure. So KGFK is what it'll be. It'll be right here. Okay. Next, we'll be looking for the ATIS, which the ATIS will be found right here. So the ATIS was 119.4, so you'll place that in this box right here.
And that's coming from a departure point, which you said was Grand Forks.
And that's our ATIS from our departure point, which was Grand Forks. So KGFK would go right here. Next, we'll be looking for the ground, which will be found right here. So our ground was 124,575, so that'll go right here. Okay, next we'll be looking for the tower, which will be found right here, which was 118.4, so we'll put that right here. And then our departure is located right here. And if you're going into Grand Forks, that'd be the same as the approach, which is 118.1, so we'll put that in this box right here. And if you're going into Grand Forks, it would go right here. Okay. Next is our CTAF, which will be located right here, which is also 118.4. Okay, the flight service station, which is FSS, but it may also be written as RCO, is located right here, 122.2, so you'll put that in this box right here. Next, we'll go over the field elevation instead of the traffic pattern altitude. We'll show you that in a minute, why we did that. So our field elevation will be located right here, right at the top there. It's 845, which is feet above sea level, and that'll be written right here. And our traffic pattern altitude will be TPA, which will be 1,000 feet above your field elevation. So it'd be 1,845, since our field elevation was 845. And that's how you do your departure. For your destination section of the airport data part, all of the information will be located in the same area, except it'll be for where you're going to, where you're flying to. So you'd look up what your destination airport is, and the only thing that would be different is your departure and your approach. So you'd be looking for your approach instead of your departure when you're looking for your destination. But they're the same thing. They just have different names for them.
Alright, sorry about that. We were having some technical difficulties and the voice changed, so just ignore that. for all of these different frequencies, your departure or destination airport may or may not have them. Most of them, it's relatively variable. The only one that's frequently found is CTAF. The others, it's kind of a guessing game whether you'll find them or not. But if you don't find them in the section of the AFD, just put an X in the box to indicate that you know that it isn't there. Alright, so next we're going to go over how to draw the airport diagram, and that goes up in here. And we're going to find that in our AFD. So I will take you over there right now. Alright, so here's the page of our AFD. We're going to use Grand Forks International for this airport diagram. And the airport diagram is the diagram of the destination airport, not your takeoff airport. I know that on the navlog that we filled out earlier, we used Grand Forks as the takeoff airport, but now we're going to use it as the destination airport. Okay, so now when we go back to the airport directory, here is the airport diagram. So there's 3 things that you want to make sure you include on your diagram when you draw it. Well, make that 4, but I'll get to that. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is draw each runway. Oops. So the first thing you want to do is draw each runway. So there's the runway, and there's 4 of them there, you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the navlog and do that real quick. So there's 1 of them, and then there's another one going there, there, and there. So I'm going to draw that real quick. So there, there, and there. So there's the 4 runways. Then the next thing you want to include is the labels for each runway. So the labels are right here, and here, and here, there. You get the point. So you want to include those. So I'm not gonna show you all of them, but I'm just gonna do a few on the thing for an example. So this one is. So this one right here is 9L, and then 9L meaning 9 left. This one down here would be 9 right. The one going right there, that one would be 9 right because it's on the right. And then this one right here is 17 right. And obviously then this one over here is going to be 17 left. And then you do the same thing for the other ends, which are down here, right there, right there, right there. But I'm not going to show you that because you get the picture. The next thing you want to include is the dimensions for each runway, which are found right here, 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 and here. And that's in feet. So runway 35L is going to be 7,351 feet by 150 feet. So it's 150 feet wide and 7,000 feet long. So I'm going to go back to the navlog and fill that in. I'm just going to do 1. 7,351. I think that was right. By 150. So that's the airport diagram. You want to draw an arrow coming from the direction that you're coming from. So let's say we were coming from the west, which is, if we look at the compass rose, that way is north, so this way is west. So if we're coming from the west, that means we want to draw an arrow like that. So that's just to help us pick a runway to choose. So we'd either choose this runway or this runway. Yeah. So that's the airport diagram.
Next, we'll be going over actuals. So the estimated time en route on this flight was 5 minutes. So then it went to your estimated time of arrival, which was 12:05 here. But when you're flying, you have to have the actual times. So your actual time en route, if you're recording, would depend on your flight, obviously, and your checkpoints. Let's just say it's 4 for this one here. So then you'd put 12:04 in your actual time of arrival over here. And you just keep doing that all the way down and record from each checkpoint to each checkpoint how long it took. Next, we'll be going over actual ground speed, which is all right here. To do that, you'd use your E6B by dividing your actual time en route by the distance of each leg. That'll be it.
That's it. And that
concludes how to fill out a navlog. This is just an outline that follows the video that we just did. It's available on Moodle if you ever need to get to it for some reason. Here's just the end of it here. This is all the definitions that were used on the navlog. The first one is navlog, which is a piece of paper used to record information about cross-country flying. The next one is checkpoints. It's, according to the navlog, a defined object around 10 to 15 miles from the last point or start point. Ground speed is how fast you're traveling over the ground in an aircraft. Variation is the difference between true north and magnetic north. True speed is the exact speed the aircraft is flying through the air. VOR is VHF, omnidirectional radial range. Altitude is the height of the plane is above sea level. True course, the angle between the true meridian and the direction of the aircraft. True heading is the heading measured clockwise from true north. ATIS, automatic terminal information service, gives airport information. FSS, flight service station, a station aircraft pilots can call for hourly up-to-date weather information in any U.S. state. Identifier is the Morse code on a location used to help identify a location. Course is the direction which you are traveling on a flight, start to end point. Leg is the distance from one checkpoint to another. Time off is the time you take off from the runway. ETE is estimated time en route, the estimated time in which it takes you to fly from one checkpoint to another. ETA is estimated time of arrival, the estimated time in which you arrive at a destination. ATE is actual time en route, the actual amount of time it takes you to fly from one checkpoint to another. ATA is actual time of arrival, the actual time in which you arrive in a desired location. GPH is gallons per hour, which is the amount of fuel an aircraft uses in 1 hour. TPA, traffic pattern altitude, is the height in which you fly above an airport in a traffic pattern. Airport directory book is the book in which a person can find required navlog information on airports and runways. And finally, WCA, wind correction angle, is the corrected angle in which you fly due to wind. These websites here are the ones we used in the video. You can use these links to get to the websites we were talking about. This website is called skyvectors.com. It is an easy way to find different towns and cities on the sectional. It just helps you out, saves you a little bit of time. This website is called www.csgnetwork.com. It just helps, say if you can't figure it out with the regular E6B, it just helps you out, or if you don't have one, it just helps you out a little bit. Helps you can fill out all your information below and helps you out. This website here is just an example of a navlog if you ever can't remember how to do something. So This website is called adventureinthesky.files.wordpress.com.
Okay, and that wraps up our lesson on filling out the navlog.